Welcome back to the episode with Mystic Scales
Six
and
Gals
Faye
and
Tales
Faye Tales
Podcast.
podcast.
I'm one of your hosts, Jennifer,
And I'm your host, Lee.
and we are fantasy, dystopian, and
Romance
podcast.
podcast.
Podcast. Welcome back to part 2 of this mini episode where we are talking about the Hunger Games on stage production because Jennifer, me, was lucky enough to go see the show, and we have a special guest joining us back. Hello,
Yay.
Adam. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. That means I did an okay job of part one and you didn't cancel part two. So thank you.
Yes, you were amazing. Adam is a longtime friend of ours and a huge Hunger Games fan, and they also starred the show. So if you didn't listen to our first episode, go back because we talk about Act 1, because this episode we're going to dive deep into Act 2 of the play production of the Hunger Games. Yes, if you did not know, breaking news, the Hunger Games is on stage. It's a play. It's in London. It opened in October. Catch up, girl. So we're going to do spoilers ahead for the show, spoilers ahead for the Hunger Games, spoiler ahead for the Hunger Games movie, all the Hunger Games IP, essentially, it's on the bracket to talk about today. So let's get into it.
So we left off last time with your reviews, and you weren't very taken with Act 1.
Well, I was okay with Act One. I
Oh,
liked
yeah.
Act
I
One
wasn't
better than
taking
Jen.
Act 1.
You still only gave it like a 6.5.
Yeah, so that
was
tells you
trying.
how great the show is.
But once Act 2 started, did you guys feel a difference? Or were you still like, oh God?
Well, Act 2 starts too with all of the backpacks hanging. So they have like, instead of just the arrow when you walked in, it's all of these backpacks hanging. And
Okay.
we're starting like deep into the game. Well, not deep into the game. We're starting right as they're getting on their platform to do the games.
Okay.
I was, I liked that. I was excited to see how they were going to do the arena. So, like, I was getting into it. I was thinking I was more hopeful, but I was a little
Mhm.
hesitant, like I mentioned last episode, because people left during the show. People left, and that is not a great feeling when the show has been out since October. And, like, yes, I'm kind of like in the slow season for theater, but I was like a week or two before, or a week before spring break. So, like, I don't know. It was a little hesitant.
Yeah, people also left when I watched the show in January. And I think it might have still been in preview. No, I don't know.
No, it opened then,
It
I
opened
think.
by that point, yeah. I thought the backpack hanging were really cool. And even the arrow, like I didn't say this for Act One, it was just so beautiful the way it's like floating there and it's backlit. That's a really like beautiful, beautiful scene. And the backpacks were like a cool addition as well because you get back into your seat and then they're just there. So it's kind of fun.
There
Yeah.
was. I will say the one thing we didn't talk about with Act One, so I'm gonna go back a little bit, was Caesar Flickerman, and that's why I put his picture up. So something different they did in the show, Lee, was Caesar's in this a lot more. He's obviously narrating a lot of what we see in Act Two with the games, and they added in as well when they're finding out they find out their tribute scores during their interviews. So he does the interview and then he tells them what your score was. And
Okay.
which something that I did not enjoy that they did this in the show, was Katniss has her interview, and then they bring Peeta out for his interview, and they say, Katniss, stay. And she sits on the couch while they're having their interview, and that's where he's just like, yeah, and like he's like, oh, you have a special girl back home, and he's like, no, I brought her here with me. And then like you have her genuine reaction, and then have the scene
But
after where she's like,
she's
what the hell, like why didn't you tell me? And they're like, we wanted your real reaction, but she's there. So like it was just like weird. I was like, why is she there? So like that was a little odd for me. And then her dress for that too, which is a little spin, was very like not climactic for me at all. It was not giving. It wasn't even like giving like Elsa Frozen moment. Like it was no like
um,
about it. And then like also the fire started, and I guess she didn't know it was coming because I swear to God the actor was like, "You could have burned me," and then Caesar was like, "It's for the show of it," and I was just like, "So she wasn't in on this." So I have no idea. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, it made sense that Caesar would be in on it because it's supposed to be like a choice that Cinna made. So yeah, the
Yeah, it was
dress
weird.
it felt like an afterthought.
It
it's too
did feel like an
bad.
afterthought. But the thing I liked about Caesar in this, I actually think he was the standout performance for me in the show because they gave him more time, meaning we got to see more of Caesar Flickerman that we know and love to hate from the books. So Stanley Tucci's performance in the movies, obviously, it's amazing. We love it, but we love Stanley Tucci, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
also why. And he's over the top. But in the books, we know Caesar from the core games, and now we know from the Sunrise games. He's kind of a fucking dick, and he could be a dick, and he's very much like that. And he's mean to the tributes, and he's not always the nicest person. And in this, he does that, and I loved it. I loved the blend of his showmanship and his rudeness. It was very
Mm-hmm.
much intertwined through it. They added a scene in Act Two where they go to Katniss's house, and he goes to Katniss's house like during the game, so they do like an extra interview, or whatever. We're gonna interview the parents, and he even like the little things he does where he just is like disgusted to walk in there. He goes in the couch and he like wipes the couch off and then sits down. And it's like little things like that where you're like, damn, this guy's a fucking asshole. But you're like, that's Caesar. Like he's conceited, and you know that. So it's like I love that this actor really played that off. And I was at first was like, oh really, they did the blue hair? But I was like, wait, I couldn't remember what he's described as in the book, so maybe that's whatever. But I also was like, okay, this is great because it connects the audience to what they know with Stanley Tucci's performance, but he's able to take that and make it his own and make it more
Yeah.
true to the book, and that's what I thought was my favorite performance in the entire show was Caesar.
I love Caesar too. Like I said, like Caesar and Effie, my two favorite, besides Peru, my two favorite performances of the show. Did they incorporate? I might be getting confused from like the one of the books. Did they incorporate his like magic a little bit into the stage show? Like, did he do like a trick at some
No, so the
point?
magic is from I don't think that's Caesar. That's Caesar's.
That's Lucky.
Is that
Yeah,
is that
That's
that's from
Lucky's.
Ballad. Yeah.
That's from
it's,
Ballad.
it's all
That's
getting blended
Lucky's.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but and there's their family, so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's his
Yeah.
uncle or whatever. But yeah, no, they. I mean, that would have been funny if they added that in.
Caesar was great. He was great.
Caesar was. I appreciate him. Okay, so there's Cinna. Okay, so the games itself were pretty hardcore. So we start off with them on their what's it called?
Platform?
Their places, whatever, the platform. Thank you. Um, and I have a picture from the program that I want to show you guys. So that's how it looked visually of them on the platform, and they did the whole thing of like, you step off, you're gonna blow up. So no one steps off, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of like go into it, and they added a lot of like visceral things of them like screaming and like running, and like they're all running at each other, and like one person's running this way, one person's this way, they're throwing, they're fighting, there's red, and they're just like they're
Yeah.
trying to really capture that like intensity of it. But then they also had these random things where they would like go into, I don't know if this is this scene, like go into the line, like all of them, and they're doing like the
Yeah, I
like
hated it.
interpretive movement. And
Oh.
they're interpreting, and I hated that. That bothered the crap out of me. I was like, why are we
I do
stopping to
not
do
like
interpretive
that.
movement?
Yeah, I do not like the bloodbath scene. I'm just gonna say it. I didn't like it. It felt like I don't know why I'm thinking of Limpico right now, like when they scream sing. What? Just like a lot of it was too loud for me. I like the bloodbath was kind of cool, but it's also like you can tell it's like stage fighting, and I don't think it's like really good stage fighting. Like it's like
Mm.
like for those who don't have the video, I'm like showing like very dramatic like punches. But you know, that's theater. Like I don't know what else I should have expected.
Yeah, same.
But the Congo line, that's what I call it. Like the bloodbath Congo line scene, that felt so cringy to me. And like I almost like wanted to leave when I saw that because it's like, why are they like dancing in a line during the bloodbath?
Oh, no.
I hated that part. I really did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And then also, like, I wasn't sure if like I'm supposed to follow Katniss as Katniss, or she's just like another person in it, because at one point like she's also still fighting, and I was like really confused. I was like, are they saying that she fought more, or is she like, are we just like doing like a blend where everyone's like, it's just like a blend, like you're doing, like you're not thinking of the character, or thinking of the people fighting. So like that was a little confusing. And then eventually she runs, but
Yeah,
like
it was
whatever. But
chaotic.
it
was
was
a
chaotic,
chaos.
which is great. They're supposed to do that. It was chaotic. And we move forward with the story in that. So they have Thresh, they have Rue, they have Kato, they have
Glimmer?
Glimmer, they have Marvel, they have
Clove?
Clove, thank you.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I think Adam's right. They do mention District 4, especially when they did, like, the costumes when we were here, where the all standing around in a circle right after their tribute parade. District 4 is there. But that's kind of the only districts they really focus on, and obviously, like, 12 for Peeta and Katniss. So yeah, so this was a scene. I don't remember what fight this is, but I wanted to show you this because it was really cool. So this was like you see the audience members sitting there. So like this was above. So like there's people, they get on a wire and they're fighting literally right next to people above. So if we're going all the way back to the beginning where you're seeing the round, it's like all the way at the top. They're up there fighting while your audience members are below you. That was fucking sick. That was
Adam,
so cool.
Yeah.
You said you were in the back row. Does that mean you were close to them?
Yeah, like, so they weren't too close to me, but there is a point where they come down from the, like what is the word I'm looking for?
The rafters?
The rafters,
like
but also just like they come into like the aisles, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
like,
yeah, they do come to the aisles.
So like I was sitting on the aisle seat, kind of like in Cursed Child when Voldemort walks through and down the aisle, or in The Lion King. Like I was not expecting to see people come through the aisles. That was like a nice surprise. I can't remember when that happened, but
I know I had Katniss come by me. I don't remember when it happened either.
Yeah. So that it's cool that they're like interacting like that way.
Yeah, it really broke a lot of like the fourth wall in that sense of like which they did the whole time. Like they would put the lights on like on the audience when it was like in capital scenes, especially with Caesar and him being like ha 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 ha, and they put things around it that said laughter, like laugh, like in Shrek when they're like laugh.
That was so fun.
So like they made it definitely that like you are a part of the show for sure, and like I think that you're supposed to be the capital audience, like 100%. So that was interesting that you're able to get this in like. Literally, the fighting is happening right there and then.
I got the same vibe that you're supposed to be the capital audience, but it makes no sense that they sat you by district. Like that, like it kind of bothered me. I'm like, yes, you're literally in the capital, and they hold the laugh cue card, and like you're supposed to like, and like, so I thought that was really funny. But then, like, why are we seated by district? Like,
it made no sense. Another thing they did too, Lee, which you would have liked, is on the screens on the bottom. They had when it was Caesar was talking, they had advertisements from the Capitol, and one of them was for the pill that they take that makes them throw up.
Oh,
so like that was
clever.
Cool. I forgot the name of it, but I was like, that's their little. I guess that's their Easter egg to the fans. So we keep going. Unfortunately, I don't think I have a photo of Rue. Yeah, there's no photo of Rue. But we get the way they did the tracker directive was pretty cool. So the way they did the tree is they have something come down from the rafter. It's not a tree. It's like literally like a bar. Like it looks like a rafter, like a bar, and she hooks onto it and she goes up, and then there's another one where Rue's on, and then they're all below her, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's Katniss!" And she sees Peeta, and she's like, "What the hell? Why is Peeta there?" And all that scene, like that's all the same, whatever the case may be. And Rue's like, "The trackers," and they hit it, and then they come down, and like it was like really cool what they did because they had this like weird thing come down that's like looks like the nest, and then when she hits it, and they all fall down. They changed the lighting so the tributes on the bottom, so that's who dies there? Is that Glimmer? Has like these light like a little, they have a little flashlight that's just like a warm lighting, and they're moving it around themselves. So it looks like a thing is like sticking them, and so they're fighting off the light and they're moving with it. So that was pretty freaking cool the way they did that scene.
I described,
so cool.
Yeah, I described it like the trees as like, what did I write here? Floating age ladders. Like that's kind of how I described it. If it helps you get a description, they're just like suspended by cables, and it's almost like they're in a caged ladder, and that's supposed to be the trees. I think Rue is my favorite cast for the show. I don't know how you felt about it, Jen, but like I thought that actor did a really great job communicating like who Rue is, and I actually felt like an emotional attachment to her, which I didn't really feel to any of the other characters. I thought she like was the perfect Rue, so I was happy with that.
I agree. She played her so young that it was a great reminder that these were kids, because I feel like Katniss and Peeta in them were not playing it young enough that you were like, these are teenagers, where Rue immediately you're like, okay, this is a child, and like that was really cool. And then they added in these really great details of like they had the one where she's like chewing the leaves and she helps Katniss or whatever. But then they had it too. It was so coolly that when Katniss they had Katniss's injury on her leg for this, and she lifted her pant leg, and you saw a freaking spore that I'm assuming they put on in the beginning of the show that was like makeup. Like she had a spore on her leg that you get to see. I thought, I don't know, I thought that was cool because going into it, I'm like, okay, you just have to just, obviously, like, you just imagine things. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
okay, she has an injury, whatever. Like, you're not, like, focusing on showing the audience in the theater of whatever, like, how big the injury is. Like, you know, you're just a stage makeup. But, like, the fact that they added, like, a little spore on her from the Chaka Jacker, that was just, like, really, like, I loved that.
Yeah. I also think that Rue helped did a favor to the actor who plays Katniss. Like that, they actually have some good rapport going on, and I do think like out of all the scenes, like Katniss acts the best when Rue's her stage partner. So
Yep.
I really thought like that was the only thing that I really enjoyed was like that their dynamic. It felt very accurate to me.
It did. It did. I agree. And they keep all of that scene that they have of them, you know, contemplating what to do, and I also should mention they also kept the scene where Katniss gets burned as well. And they had some real fire in the show. I will say that was pretty cool. And also another way they did it was the way that they set up the arena in general. There wasn't like all these big sets or anything, but they would have the screens that they had on the end caps of the show, and they would have the Capitol, the game makers come out. They're all wearing like I think white, and they would go to the screen as if they're doing like a touch from afar, and they would change the setting of the arena. So it'd be like sun, moon, then they would be like the fire. So like that was cool to like change it, like to show the tech of it. But they did take out Seneca Crane. Seneca Crane is not a character in this. They have different game makers. They
Oh.
have like one game maker guy that's like all in black, which is like I was like maybe he's Seneca, but he was not named in
Hmm.
any way, shape, or form. They still have like the pig scene where she shoots at them, which was also rushed. And then at one point they keep the scene from the movies where President Snow talks to the game makers and is like, "Kill her. She is bad. Get rid of her. She creates hope." You know. Um, and they obviously
Yeah,
don't do that. So then, so that was
I
weird to me. I don't know how you felt about
yeah.
that, but I was really upset about the takeaway of Seneca.
I think that it was a poor choice, but I think that for the adaptation, it makes sense, especially if they're not planning on like doing. I can't imagine a world where they do the next, you
That's
know.
true.
So like if it's just like living in a vacuum, I understand the choice. Like it's too nuanced to put in here, but for like us who love the story, like we're just like, why wouldn't you put them in? Um, Talking about those moving screens, I didn't like the choice of them putting like trees as a background. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did at
Like,
some point.
I didn't like that. It felt weird. Like, because they were trying to like paint that they're in a forest or in the meadow, so they have like these trees in the background, like moving around, and I'm just like, I'd rather you just not put that in because it didn't really do it for me.
Didn't fit. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
if you want the audience to imagine it, let them imagine it rather than doing it
hmm
fully. I can see that.
Yeah, because like literally
Um,
they're climbing in like ladders, for trees, and then you have these like, yeah, so
the ambiance of it, yeah, that is. I agree. I didn't think about that. And then we get to um, this scene that I'm showing on the picture, which is her arrow, where she makes the plan for the bombs. So if you see it from the picture, which I'm describing as well, audio is it's a screen, it's the stage, and they have these lights on the floor that are circular. That are supposed to be like where the bombs are. And they do show them talk about it, like how the setup of it, and they make it that her glasses that she has in her backpack, when she puts them on, she can see where the bombs are. Um, and then she goes to shoot her arrow at something hanging on one of the backpacks. But the reason I bring this up is because I hated this scene because they added in, so like with the screens, they also had like random things where they had like the characters be all dramatic, and so because it starts with like Katniss waking up from the nightmare of her dad, so her dad's like on the screen like the fire, and then like and the actors being
oh,
brought back, whatever. So
mhm.
like that comes out throughout the show, whatever. And so when she's doing this, she's like she misses the first shot, and then she goes again, and then she's just like, "Dad, be with me." and then shoots it. And I just was like, ew. I was like, that's disgusting. I was like, I don't know why, but it was the most cringe moment in the world. That I was like, Katniss is not thinking about her frippin' dad in that moment. I'm sorry. She's not thinking about that.
I don't think Katniss thinks about her dad once when she's in the arenas ever. She's more focused on people who are alive and like what she has to lose. Like she already lost her father. Like yes, it impacts the story, but like when she's literally in fight or flight survival mode, like that's not the person she's worried about.
No.
Exactly.
How many times?
And it also gave it this. I'm sorry, Lee. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, how many times does she think in like contracts, right? Like, you saved my life, now I owe you. She's not emotional, you know?
She's
Mhm.
not emotional, and like giving that also that aspect of like be with me, dad, or whatever she says. It's like we've talked about this in the books, Lee. There's no spiritual aspect in these books. There's no they talk about the hereafter and death and whatever the case may be. But Katniss is not, and Katniss even says like there was religion and like I don't understand. Like they don't. There's no religion in the Hunger Games, and I'm
Mhm.
saying like that's not necessarily meaning that it's religion, but you're believing that this person who's passed can be with you in this moment when you need them. And I'm like, that's not how Katniss feels. I'm sorry, but she doesn't think like that, and a lot
No,
of them
she
don't
doesn't.
in this. So it
Right.
was a weird aspect in the what it implies that I didn't like at all.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I agree.
Our boy
Okay.
Petas.
I was gonna say, excuse me, we have not spoken about this man.
We've not spoken about this man. It's hard to see that he's like I think he has like blonde in his hair a little bit. I could barely see it from where I was sitting, so at first I was like, they did not make this man a fucking brunette, but I think they did put in blonde in his hair. Um, yes, we find Peeta again. Obviously, when she finds him after the camouflage, he still is injured. They keep all of that, and they have their little lovey-dovey moment. They kiss a lot more. They kiss a lot more than they normally do, which was great. I personally liked the guy who played Peeta. I thought he did a good job. I thought he was sweet. I thought he was everything that we love about this red boy.
Mhm.
And you can see that he really loved her, even though as an audience member we were struggling to love her. Um, and he
Yeah,
wasn't. I think it was fine. What did you
that's
think?
what I wrote. I wrote Peter was fine. That's what I wrote. Like, I think his character doesn't have the same level of responsibility in this show, and that helps him because he doesn't feel cringy because I don't have to hear his thoughts. I really do think they've ruined Katniss by making us like privy to her monologues. Like, I really think Peter's fine. I agree if he was cute. He's a really handsome man, like very gentle, very much giving Peter. So he did a good job. He was fine.
Yeah, he was very much giving Peeta.
I love this
The only thing
photo.
that bothered, yeah, it was great. The only thing that bothered me was they took out, which I texted you about immediately, Lee,
Mm.
when the Barry Bush comes out, toward the end. So they have Foxface, who they named whatever we said, Floss or whatever. Um, she comes out, she looks at the tree, she eats the berry off of it and dies. And then they come and they're like, see, even she could be outsmarted, blah 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 blah. And then they take the berries and they're like, if she could be outside, maybe Kato could be too or whatever.
Yeah, that pissed me
And
off.
I was that right. I pissed me off at the fact that they took away Peeta's guilt. You took away this man's guilt. This man was
Mhm.
the reason that she died, and I was just like, they took that away, and I hated that. I
Yeah,
hated it. He walked away with this from this game unscathed, other than his own personal stuff that he had happen, obviously with his like injury and things. But like, they still kept Katniss killing Marvel,
yeah.
so why couldn't we
Also,
keep his death or
right.
his
It also does a
murder?
disservice to Foxface as a character because she's so cool and her survival strategy is so unique, and they make it seem like she just took a risk and ate a berry when that's not anything she would do because she only ate the berry, because Peter picked it, right? So like that pissed me off. It was a dumb change. It didn't make sense.
It was a
Mhm.
very dumb change, very
Huh.
dumb. And then they have obviously like the scene of them mending each other and whatever. And what was cool that I did like was that to show this Katniss understanding Haymitch talking to her through the games, through the stuff. They have like every time they kiss, they throw a parachute down. So then they have the scene where they like they were laughing and kissing, and they kissed like a couple times, and the parachutes just keep coming every time they kiss, and there was like all these parachutes all over the stage, and it was like symbolic in that. So I was like, oh, that was cool. So they kind of kept that like Easter egg of thing in,
Yeah,
and
I
then we
also like the
get
way like when people die, the way they took their body. That was cool. Like they took the bodies in a few different ways. Like I think sometimes
hmm
like they would go under the stage, but sometimes like they would get take like Rue. Like I think they kept it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like they took her up. Like they like
I don't remember if they. I don't remember. They probably did, or maybe they went
like
down. I think they went down.
did someone get taken up too? Like
I
in like
don't remember.
maybe I could be hallucinating again, but
No,
I just I
you're
yeah
right. They did so many different things that I don't remember because
yeah.
they had the opportunity to go down, they had the opportunity to go out and left, and they would do like a red light over when people died
Yes.
too, to like
Mhm.
symbolize it. And then some people they would do where it'd be the red light and it'd be just that character, and then they get up and then they slowly walk
Yeah,
off.
they would walk off. That was so interesting. Like they would die and get up and walk off stage. Like that was kind of funny. Like I that was kind of weird.
I think it was like trying to be symbolic to like show that these people are like children and like they like
Yeah.
they had their life taken and it like should be
Right.
remembered. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of off putting on
Yeah.
what you were watching.
It was kind of cool. I thought I wasn't like really mad about it. The first time I saw that, I was like, huh? But then like you're like, all right. Did they do the
Huh?
cannons? They did, right?
They did. They did
They
the
just went
cannons, and they would
loud.
show the number. Yeah, and they would show the
Okay.
number on the screen about who died. Um, but I want to talk about Rue's death too, because what I did like that they did in the show that was different, was when Rue died. They then had the Capitol people come out and were dancing and partying while Rue and Katniss are still on the stage. And I loved that because it
Mhm.
showed how while this child is dying, there are the Cap people who are rejoicing and
Mhm.
partying. And that's such a commentary on, life and the show and the reflection of it on today's society. So I was just like, oh, that was a great addition, I think, to add to the intensity of the moment.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the cannons should have been louder. Like they could have really like jarred us with it. Like I know they could because when that bomb exploded, it was pretty intense.
It was.
Huh.
It was. Yeah. And then we get to I'm gonna just skip forward to the end. We get to the Kato scene and the Beast. The actors did come out as the Beast, which were cool, and they were all like,
Oh, neat.
crawling around and stuff. And I think they even Peter probably even mentions like they have their faces or something. And the cornucopia comes out. This is the first time you see the cornucopia too. They don't use the cornucopia. They just like talk about it.
Mm.
So like they use like a physical cornucopia, which was cool. It was like metal bars, and they get on top, and they still have the same thing with Kato in the neck and the X spot and all of that. But I thought what was lacking in this, what they took out, which again, I don't know if all of this stuff. I'm like, oh, it blends in my head, but I'm pretty sure they took out. Remind me if I'm wrong, but in the books, when Kato's taken from the monsters, like he doesn't die right away because he has all that armor on. So then it's like they're like sitting for like what, like not hours but a long time, like hearing him scream, right? Okay,
Yes.
I remember that happening, and then
Mhm.
she shoots the arrow at him. I
Yes.
don't think she does that in this. I think they just take him away. She doesn't shoot him at all. She doesn't give him mercy. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
I hated that they took that out. Like there was such a merciful moment that they have, and also they took out, which I love that they did in the movies, where they give Kato that speech to let him humanize himself and realize that he's just a part of their games too, and he's not special. And I love that. And they don't have that here, and it was lacking in that because of it. And it just was so quick. It was like, the beast came out, then they had that, they did the X, Kato goes off, the games are done. And you're just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it was very quick. The one thing that they kept in, which I'm so grateful they did, was Thresh. Like Thresh helping Katniss. Like just putting it back a little bit to when Katniss is going to grab the medicine. They kept the scene in where Thresh saves Katniss from
Clove.
Clover.
Yeah, I think it's Clove.
Clove. Yeah, so that was good because I think Thresh was a good cast as well. He
He
like
was.
Thresh was Thresh and he did Thresh well. Yeah, he's just a big man on stage. Like that's a man.
But it
It
was
was a
great, and it
guy.
reminded me though, like Lee and I have talked about like the illustrations in the illustrated edition of Hunger Games. They have an entire page of just Thresh, and he looks so young, and it's so heartbreaking. And it's like right after he does hit her with the rock, and they kept that in this. They hit her with the rock,
Mhm.
and so I think that ideal of Thresh has been woven into like so many things of like, yeah, he's this big man, but he's still like a child. And so I
Right,
think that
right.
this actor did a great job of that.
Mm.
So I loved it. He was
Yeah,
really well
it
done.
was it was a good part. Hmm.
I don't know when this is. She does this at one point. But then this is the end.
She does.
So they throw them. Obviously they do the whole like fake berry thing. Whatever, we get to the end, they come out. They do a cool thing where we're waiting for Katniss to come back out, and they have like a screen, and they have like the doctor, like not her body, but like showing like the procedures being done to like fix them or whatever, like fix them back up, and they come back in all white. The thing I loved, they keep Peter. They definitely keep Peter's leg thing because he has a cane when he comes back up, and he's like limping, which is cool. I don't think they keep Katniss's ear thing at all. They don't discuss it at all. They don't discuss that she lost her hearing in that one ear. Um, but what was really cool was the way that they set this up. They brought those like ladders that Adam's describing that they were climbing on. They bring them down. So there's two of them, and they create this like hallway in a sense, and that's where they walk down and discuss before they go out to go back, or that's their train ride. They're discussing whatever. They get crowned by the president, and then they go out. And it was so interesting that they kept them all in white. Like, what did you think about that, Adam? Like, every character was in white now.
I just like, what are they wearing? Like, it's a hideous outfit. First of all, like, it looks like they're going to like ski in Aspen or something. I don't like it. I didn't like the outfits at all. And I also, I know I'm backpedaling a little bit, but like the berry scene didn't feel important. And I think it didn't feel important because they made the change of Fox Face. Because it felt like so connected and so like almost serendipitous. And then it just like took away all of that meaning for me. So they ruined that for me too. But yeah, no, I don't understand. Like, I guess they're trying to paint them as innocent, but we all know that Katniss is not an innocent person. She's really not.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
So,
if they were painting it innocence or just like trying to paint it all with snow, like you're all under snow's thing, so everyone wears
oh,
white. But
that's a good point.
it was
But what's like,
just
there's like blue in there.
odd.
I hate those outfits. I really do.
It was just weird. But obviously, like they still kept it like Hamish, like saying like she's just like I'm just glad it's over now. And he's like it's never over. You're never getting off this train, sweetie, or whatever he says.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Um, and then like they have the whole moment of Katniss and Peeta where he's like realizing that like oh shit you were just playing that for the camera was in that kind of hallway scene, and I liked that the moment they gave them there. But yeah, then they come back to District 12, and then they do like singing. like
Yeah.
like they sing, I don't know if they sing Hanging Tree, I don't know what they sing, but I get it. It's like, how do you end this? Because it's not the end of the
Mm.
trilogy, but you have to end the show.
Right.
So I think this is my last
When they had
image,
that
yeah.
conversation, I felt like Katniss was not like but Katniss. She was kind of like saying like, "Oh, I really don't know." Like she was kind of like playing it off a little bit, wasn't she? Like a little coy, like, "Oh, it's hard to say." Yeah, it wasn't
hmm
really. She wasn't really giving like a straight answer.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
But I did like they had in a moment with Effie though, like when Katniss comes back out and Effie's there before they like walk down to go get crowned. Effie like I think she hugs her, but I don't remember. But I know that she throughout the show she touches Katniss's braid, and I'm pretty sure she does that in the movie too. So like I really love that like touching moment they had, because you see that lovingness of Effie
She's finally just
throughout.
happy that someone won. She's like, "Thank God they came back." I love Effie. I'm a huge Effie fan. Effie can do
Effie
no wrong in
Stan.
my eyes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Uh,
stop sharing. So that's like let's wrap this all into a bow, right? What is your overall rating of the show? Your takeaways, what you think of everything? What's your review? Give me your review.
I think overall rating 6 out of 10. What they did to Katniss really impacts the experience. I think like it's if you're gonna have her narrate, you need to do it in a way where she can hold the show, and she wasn't able to do that. And like some of the choices they made were so unforgivable for me, especially like calling out the conga line in the bloodbath. Like that's why I think I hate the second act because it just felt so bad. It just like made me feel like I wanted to leave at that moment. Like I just couldn't watch. Like it's like cringe, you know. Like there were certain moments where I felt like I'm cringy for being here and experiencing this, and I think that's why people leave. Like because they're just like I don't want to sit here anymore through the cringe. But like there are also really redeeming parts of the show, like the relationship with Rue and like Effie's performance and Caesar. So like I think if you're a fan of the Hunger Games, it's definitely worth the watch. Like you have to experience this for yourself. I'm the type of fanboy like that all media is good media when it comes to something I enjoy. Like where I will watch something even if like everyone tells me not to, or so
Mm.
definitely worth watching at least once. I know you wanted to discuss will it come somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. That's my next
Apparently,
question.
apparently it was built for 95% of it to be packed away and bought somewhere else. Uh, so like that's what they said online. They said like 95% of the stage can
Wow.
be packed away.
Mhm.
So I don't know though. Maybe it depends on how it performs. There was a big investment into it. It was like millions of pounds to build the stage.
That's
So
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where in New York would it go? You
I was
know?
thinking about this. I don't know if I'd go to New York. I think I might go to California if it's going to go somewhere else. I was
even
like,
if it
maybe it won't come here.
even
Like
if it comes here, it doesn't
Chicago?
have to come to like Times Square. Like it doesn't have to go
Yeah,
there. It could go
the
anywhere.
one, yeah, I'm thinking like, what is it called? The Shed? It's like over by Hudson Yards. It's like
Oh,
a big building.
Hudson Yards
Oh.
has a lot of space. It could fit there. Or even like
Oh,
on the
you're
west
right.
side, like where like the water, I don't know.
I didn't even think about that. Because I'm just not thinking that far because people don't think outside of the Times Square aspect. But you're
Yeah.
right. I was thinking if it came here, it would go somewhere else first to test, and that would be
Yeah.
California or Chicago. Like it would probably go to Chicago more than
Yeah.
not. Because I
Mm,
know Devil's Wear Prada is in London when I was there, and I'm pretty sure they tested in Chicago too,
mm.
or they're going to Chicago or something like that. So I was like, maybe they would test there. But that's a great point that they would maybe just come over to a different stage here. But that's so interesting to get people to do that. Like, how are you going to
Yeah.
get people to do that? That's hard.
I would
But
love to see a new
also,
cast to it too.
Oh my
yeah,
god,
Like,
like,
please,
yeah,
please,
yeah.
what,
please.
wouldn't you both say that like there needs to be rewrites, or do you think just recasting would be enough?
I think there needs to be rewrites too. I think so.
Yeah. I think there needs to be rewrites, but I don't know how they could rewrite it based on like like how they built it out, right? Like
Uh-huh.
I don't know what they could do to fix it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like they can't rewrite it at the same time. You're right because of all the technical aspects. This show is technically amazing. Technically,
Yes.
it's
Sounds it.
gorgeous. The
Yes.
choreography, the lighting, everything was technically
The
amazing. It's
stunt
very
work
much
too.
the stunt work. It very
Yeah.
much is like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, where you watch the
Hmm.
show, you're absolutely stunned by the magic, you're stunned by the sets, you're stunned by
Hmm.
everything in it. The
Mhm.
acting is actually good in Harry Potter. The story sucks in Harry Potter, so you
Yeah.
kind of ignore that to like love what you watching. With this one, it's hard to ignore the fact that we don't like the main character, like person playing actor, like Katniss. That's hard to
Yeah.
ignore, but the story is still there. The story will always be there because it's Suzanne's story and it's great. But
Hmm.
Mhm.
the rewrites would be hard, and it's just like if you're gonna keep this choice to have her monologuing her inner thoughts, you need a stronger actor. There's no way that that actress would test well over here. Just like point blank, she would not. And so I think they would need a new cast. They would need to up
Hope she
that a
never
bit.
hears this. It goes so bad. We like literally,
She won't.
She won't.
yeah. You
She
never
doesn't. I'm
know.
so sorry. Kristen, I'm sure you're an amazing actress, but this is just not
Yeah, yeah. It's not
the
your
role.
fault.
It's not your fault.
Uh, no, but I
And
totally agree.
they need like a lot would change, and it's crazy because I really thought when they first announced this, they first announced it was the round. I said, great, so they're testing it to go in Circle in the Square. I was like, it's gonna go in
Right.
Circle in the Square. That's the theater we have here. That's the most famous for being in the round. They just had Romeo and Juliet there, where they were like. I saw, me and Lee both saw Romeo and Juliet. They're swinging
Yeah.
around on the rafters. They're
It
running around
sounds
this
very
theater. They're all
familiar.
over.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that, but on a bigger scale. So imagine that, but bigger. Imagine that, but they have the opportunity to latch themselves up to safety harnesses so they could do all
Yeah.
these cool flips and stuff. They didn't do that in Romeo and Juliet. So, like, that's the aspect of it that they could do here, but they would need to scale this down so much for that. And
Mhm.
for some of the set pieces that are coming out, because like it's not a lot of set, but there is some sets. There's the train that comes fully up from the train seating that they have. It comes up
That's
from the
so
bottom, it
cool.
goes down. It's
It
so
was
cool, and
beautiful.
I don't
Yeah.
know what. There's no theater here that could do that. They'd have to
Right.
build it. They'd have
Well,
to build
apparently
it
they don't
point
have to
blank.
build it. Apparently they can move it here. Like that's the
That's
thing. Like 90,
crazy.
apparently like it's I read an article right before this 95% of it can be moved. So like
That's
for the
crazy.
5% that can't be moved, they can build 5%. And that's I don't know. Did you like what did you think? What was your final thoughts?
Yeah.
My final thoughts is like I want to see it again as a fan. I think it would be great to like go back and be like, let me take my notes this time, and like ignore the girl performance. But like I feel like my rating was like very similar. Like it was like not the technical aspects just like really does well. So you're just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like I'm having such a great time. But then like as a fan, it's hard. And so I really asked I was asking my cousin a lot because my cousin like watched the first movie, but she's not like a book fan and all that. So sorry, my dog. So I was asking my cousin like what her thoughts was, and she just was like, yeah, the first act was kind of a bore, but the second act was like better, and like she had a fun time. And but she's like, I don't remember them being that romantic. She was like, they kissed a lot, and I was just like, well, and then like I had to like give her like a lot of background to things, and I think like that made her more enjoyable and be like, wait, this is what happens in the book, and this is why it happens, and da 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 da, and so like that's fun. But I think the thing that I was thinking about this all day today too before I talked with you guys. We have Harry Potter on stage, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. We have Stranger Things on stage, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. I think what's doing really well with those IPs and why they're going to stage is that it's a new story. So you're in the world of it, you're bringing the IP with you, you're bringing the franchise, you're bringing the fans to it, and they're very excited, but they're getting a new experience. They're not judging it against the movies, they're not judging it against the TV shows, they're not judging it against what they already have because it's something new for them to experience. I know that would have been really hard for Suzanne because Suzanne only chooses to write when she wants to write. But I think what would have been better for this, even though I do think The Hunger Games is an amazing story that should be adapted to, that could be read for stage really, really well. It has the gut to it. But I think what would have been even better is if they came up with something new for this IP. And they decided to do something new and do a new show, a new story that connects it all, that you could watch it or not watch it. Same thing with Stranger Things. You could watch Stranger Things and it helps you. You could not watch Stranger Things and it helps you. You could watch Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and it helps you. You could not watch Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And I think that would have been so much better for this. And what's doing well and testing well with our Broadway audiences is the licenses, IPs, amazing. They make Death Becomes Her. They make SpongeBob the musical. They make The Mean Girls the musical movie. Like that does well if you're in the IP people appreciate and love and enjoy, but it's still new and fresh. And I think that's what's hard with this. It's that it's not new in that, and so the movies did so well that it's hard to try to compare yourself to that did really well. Right. So that was my thought. I don't know what they would have done. I don't know what story I would have wanted as a different, fresh story for the IP. But even as I'm watching it, I'm like, this would have been really cool if they did Sunrise this way.
Yeah,
like if we got Sunrise this way, it would have been really awesome.
I totally agree with you because like you have the books and you have the movies that like super fans like us pick apart, and like we love them so much, and then having this, which is just like not on par. That's really what the bottom line is. It's just not on par with like what we.
Or they're catering so much to be that. They're trying so hard to do you want to pay homage to the books, pay homage to the movie, and pay homage to the fan, and pay homage to the author. That's a lot to handle, and I think your comment is amazing that you think they put too much on on Katniss's back, because that's exactly what happened in the end. Is you're putting so much on this one character, and it just didn't work. It didn't translate perfectly.
Yeah, maybe it was lacking a point of view. Like they didn't really give a point of view to it. It was just like a rehash. Yeah. And not in a good way. Huh.
No, not in a good way.
Will you watch it, Lee?
I mean, I do want to see it, but now that you say that, like that makes so much more sense. Like, because if you had a different story, you could have a different point of view, and you could write it to focus on the acrobatics and like things like that, rather than trying to like plug it in. So I'm like, you guys make me nervous to see it, but I'm curious.
No, I think like I would love to watch your reactions. But like I
so
think
we're going to London?
Yeah, we're going to London part 2. The thing I hate about obviously Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is the story, but I do appreciate the fact that somebody else wrote it too. I know like I don't appreciate the script, but it was like that would have been so interesting if that was the approach here, if somebody else wrote it and wrote it with Suzanne, even though like I don't want someone else to write The Hunger Games. I want Suzanne to only write The Hunger Games, obviously, but like if she was not intrigued enough to write a new story, like that would have been cool for her to collaborate with someone, because that would have been such a different perspective we've never gotten, you know, like obviously with the scripts like we did because she didn't write the screenplays, but still like it would have been, I think that would have been really cool.
I think we needed her input a little bit. Like I think that it really would have benefited from her like editorial touch in some way. So,
but apparently in the program it says that they talked for hours and that she was involved. So
did they talk for hours one time before they started? I think that's what it's kind of giving. I don't know.
Well, we're also not a fan of the writer,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
I don't know
So,
much about the writer, but based on this one
Did
work,
you not see Girl from the North Country, or did we only suffer and you didn't
no,
suffer?
oh,
no,
Okay,
I
so
didn't
we all
suffer.
suffered. We got free tickets and
Uh,
we all suffered without
oh
you.
yeah,
no. Oh, I'm
it
glad
was
I
rough.
missed that one. Okay.
It's okay. They missed it. It was very rough. Very, very rough.
Uh,
Actually, I had to leave early because I had to go to work, and I was glad.
thank
Grateful.
God. Thank God I had that built-in
Yeah.
excuse.
I
Oh
wish I
no.
left.
Well,
I really
I will
did.
not watch it then.
No,
No,
you're good.
no, no.
So that's a wrap on the Hunger Games stage show. Thank you so much,
Yay.
Adam, for being on. This was such a
Yes.
great
Yeah.
conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I
This was
loved
fun.
it.
This was so
Oh
much
my
fun.
God.
Thank
I
you.
couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree
Oh,
more. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for deep diving with us, for taking the time. Let us know if you've seen the show, if you want to see the show,
Please.
or what your ideas would be for another show if you were to make it in these Hunger Games universe.
kind
Follow
of thinking
us
about.
on the.
Sorry.
Ooh, yeah, if
Yeah.
you come up with one later too, Adam, let us know. We'll add it in.
Circle
We'll
back.
update everybody.
Right.
We'll update everybody for you.
Yeah.
Um, Follow us on Instagram, Fable, TikTok, and YouTube. Anything else, Lee?
Just the signature. Happy reading.
Happy reading!